So you're probably at the point where all these manifestation coaches, you feel they need to be in straitjackets, right? You probably feel like, I've been doing all this work and LOA is just a bunch of crap. I would be better off just hiring a voodoo doll, right? But here's the thing, guys. Which actually, I don't think you hire voodoo dolls. I think they, well, in a way, they hire you. But, you know, okay, fine. Go talk to Annabelle, right? Go talk to Robert the doll. Actually, I'm sorry, Robert. I did not mean that. I'm sorry. But in reality, guys, look, I just already felt my stomach going crazy, but it's probably just the coffee. I'm sorry, Robert. Let me salute. Salute to Robert. If you don't know who he is, it's for the better. But either way, the thing is, guys, is without having to get all dramatic, like, I was going to plan on playing the violin for you guys and, you know, say, you know, manifestation can be hard and it can be very sad when things are not going your way. But also, I don't want you guys to be wimps, okay? I want you guys to get your balls. Women, you too, get your balls. And you gotta become God, okay? You gotta understand that you are God. How are you God? Well, you are the observer of your reality. You are not the mind or the body. You are not these circumstances, okay? If you're manifesting an SP and they are ignoring you, that doesn't mean that it's going to stay like that forever. If you are a person who is struggling paycheck to paycheck, that doesn't mean that it's going to stay like that, okay? When you hear people say the scripture of, in my Father's house there are many rooms, you know, that's not talking about how he has his own brothel, okay? That's not talking about how he just got him a 5-star hotel at the Tipton, okay? For all of you Zack and Cody fans, right? He's talking about realities, right? But when people hear stuff about like parallel realities, they think of time machines and Ant-Man and the quantum field, right? Okay, I mean, maybe, but it's not about freaking Back to the Future, okay? And Dr. Octopus, okay? It's simply saying that whatever you see with your finances or your SP or anything, even in your physical appearance, it doesn't have to stay like that forever, okay? It does not. All right, trust me. I've literally seen my face change overnight sometimes, just by a state. Like, I remember there was one day where I was just, or 1 week rather, where I was just going through the ringer. I was just depressed, you know. I looked like freaking, what's his name? John Cusack, right? Well, actually, let me not shit on John Cusack. Well, yeah, let's shit on John Cusack. I look like him. And then all of a sudden, I start getting myself in the state, and then I start fucking looking like, what's that motherfucker's name? Fuck. I don't know. I started looking like one of the One Direction guys. I forgot his fucking name. All right? You guys decide, right? But the point I'm trying to make, guys, is nothing is going to stay stagnant. So if you want results in your manifestation, what you need to do is understand that you are the one carrying the whole entire movie. You're the one carrying the whole entire show. How? Because the only reality that exists is your consciousness. Out here in front of my windshield as I'm driving, and I almost ran over a deer here. Hey, come on, get out of the way, Daddy's driving. Out here is a reflection of my consciousness, okay, I've said this before in videos, but it is kind of a joke. Maybe not necessarily like like right now I just got me a green light, okay, and I always make a joke that I always get green lights, I never get red, right? Well, it doesn't actually mean I'm never going to get red, but I usually get to my places relatively on time, right? Well, the fact of the matter is, if I was to say, man, I'm always fucking late, I probably would get more red lights. So that's how reality works, because I put that in my consciousness. If I was to get broken up with in my senior year of high school, and I would say, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be loved, then when I start going on a freaking fuckathon in college, but then I fall in love with the girl at the beach who had the Egyptian accent, and she had the nerve to, you know, fucking start reading the Quran on the beach, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl's a saint, right? Then we're just fucking on the beach. Well, if I was to do that and then fall in love, things could go great, but something would have to happen to fuck it up. Why? Because when I was in my senior year, I said that I will never be loved, and I identified with that. So when you notice that there's patterns, whether it's with SP, whether it's with money, all you got to do is break those patterns. And you're probably wondering, okay, but isn't it more easier to start a pattern when it's something negative than positive? Yes. That's why people invented robotic affirmations, because they understood that repetition can help break the cycle. Because when you already have something written in stone, like an old identity, where instead of, I mean, you could think positive all you want, and you can tell yourself, okay, I'm going to get the number. I'm going to get the number when you're trying to ask that girl out at the mall, right? But who do you think, what state do you think is going to win? The one where you have naturally already embodied the state of I'm a loser, I suck, women think I'm ugly? Or all of a sudden, for the first time in your life, you're like, okay, I'm going to do this affirmation. I'm going to say I'm the most sexiest man alive. Some people have had success right away, because sometimes it's so new to you that it's like an adrenaline rush. But yeah, I understand why people say that, you know, robotically affirming, robotically imagining, robotically satsing and getting goat's blood and, you know, fingering the pickles and all that stuff will help, okay? But I'm a guy who, because I have so much clients and I notice that they get exhausted after all these techniques, I want to give you relatively techniques that are not, don't even feel like techniques, they're just being, right? And the best way to do that is through a non-dual perspective, okay? And before you're like, wait, what the fuck? Okay, this is not me getting like an ancient book out of the Dragon Ball Z mountains and, you know, you're just dusting it off and all of a sudden a fucking Piccolo comes out. No. Like, what this is it's, again, going back to what I said at the beginning of this video, it's understanding that you are not the mind, you're not the body, and that when you are going to go up and ask for that girl's number and you notice there's that resistance, you notice there's that ego saying, oh, but this never works for you, you can decide, okay, well, now that I know that this whole time I wasn't ever the mind or the body to begin with, I only experience out here what I embody internally, not what happens externally, right? Because the thing is if we go back to the example of the senior year of high school, which, by the way, I did get broken up. No, actually not. I was a fucking player in senior. Okay, either ways, not important, guys, okay? I gotta act like if I'm, you know, can relate to all you guys who just never get, you know, SPs, right? Even though I got an infinity gauntlet of SPs. But either ways, let's use the example of senior year real quick, okay? I'm late for work, but I'm gonna get this for you guys, all right? So let's say I got broken up by that Egyptian girl after actually, no, that was not senior year. Okay, let's say I got fucking brokenhearted in senior year, okay? But instead of saying I will never be loved, I'm like, okay, fuck it. It's her loss. Fuck that bitch, right? Then I meet the girl, fast forward, during the fuckathon in college at the beach with the Quran, and things stay in the honeymoon phase forever, and maybe I get bored of her and I break up with her or whatever, but the thing is I hold the control, right? If anything, she was asking for marriage and to have 12 kids, and I was like, okay, never mind, fuck that. But you see, in that reality, because I didn't identify with what most people would identify as, oh, I'm a loser, I suck, I'm unlovable, just because some girl decided that, oh shit, I'm horny, I want to date the tall black dude, right? And by the way, I have nothing against black dudes. I love black people. I'm just saying some of you guys are tall. All right. But either ways, okay? If she wants to do that, I'm like, okay, great. I'm still fucking amazing. And guess what? I no longer have to worry about that risk. Okay. So you see, it's not about the external circumstances, it's the internal. Okay. So all you have to do is, from the non-dual perspective, knowing that you're not the mind and the body, You get to pick meanings. You get to decide what you are. When the external is saying, nope, senior year of high school, she's breaking up with you, you could say, well, internally, I'm still fucking amazing. I'm still fucking perfect. You could even say, we're still together, and you will still get her back. Now, the problem is, a lot of people don't understand that when you do that, you have to be firm in that situation, because sometimes it can take months, maybe years, right? Which is why me personally, I'm like, yeah, never mind, fuck that, because there's just so much, vaginals in the world to go around, right? However, it goes back to the main thing, that your consciousness is the true reality. And by the way, don't get that confused with your thoughts. Oh, I had a thought today that said that I'm ugly and my head is shaped like a watermelon. Okay, well, that is an intrusive thought, and maybe you watch too much Hey Arnold, okay? It's not, you don't have to identify with that. You're conscious, literally, when they say I'm consciously doing something, that means like intention. Your consciousness, your intentional consciousness is your reality. Because even when you have that thought that says that your fucking head is shaped like a watermelon, you can say, no, my fucking head, whether it's shaped like a damn, I was about to say something else before they demonetized me. Whether it's shaped like a darn walrus tusk, okay? I still get all the pussy in the world, all right? That's all you have to do, is consciously decide how you're going to internalize everything that happens on the external. And by the way, your thoughts are external. Don't get it confused. Just because they say, oh, this is happening inside my mind. Yeah, but you're still observing it. If you can observe it, which you can observe your thoughts, that is not internal, that's external. And that is part of the 3D, okay? Now, guys, I am Neil Arthos. This is all that the I'm Awareness had to say. The links are in the description if you want to work with me. Have a wonderful day.